I always knew I wanted to work with animals, and when I was growing up, being a vet was kind of the only option that I knew of. I didn't honestly even think about being a keeper or anything else, and I always liked wildlife, and I always wanted to be a zoo vet. I started towards that goal in college with like the pre-vet club, and then in between college and vet school, I worked at Zoo Atlanta as a keeper intern. So you work in different departments, and then throughout vet school, I just tried to get as much zoo experience as I could. So I did externships at different zoos and wildlife centers, and took as many classes as I could, and then did internships, and then finally got this residency. It's a 3-year program, and I'm the first year, so I started August 1st last year. And so our program is a little bit different because the first year is based in Sacramento and UC Davis, and then in July I'll actually move to San Diego, and the second and third year you're based in San Diego. CJ is our cub. He's 1 year and 3 months old, so that was his first official exam. He'd been briefly examined when he was like first born, and he got vaccinated and he got blood work and everything, but we hadn't actually anesthetized him and done like a full exam until that exam. Pretty much all the animals are on a yearly schedule. Some of the species are not, like the great apes, our chimps and orangutans are usually every other year, but yeah, most of the animals are on a once yearly schedule. And that's usually a full examination, certain blood tests and vaccinations depending on what species they are. But then obviously if anything comes up before that exam, then we can assess them at that time. But yeah, it's nice because you get your hands on every animal pretty much every year, every other year, because the keepers are really attentive and they keep an eye on the animals, and they a lot of times pick things up before we see them, but you don't really know for sure what's going on until you actually get your hands on the animal. A lot of it is studying and then kind of trying to group things in your mind that are similar. For me, it helps if I can make comparisons to things that I have seen before. So, you may not have worked on a chimp before, but, I worked on gorillas, and they're, great apes, so you try and think about how they're similar, but then you also have to look up ways that they're different. So trying to look that up the night before you actually touch the animal really helps. But that's the nice thing about our program is when we finish the residency, we take this boards course, which is on everything. And, the nice thing about this program is there is no zoo in the world that has every animal. But because I get sent to the Marine Mammal Center and I get sent to the Primate Center, my odds of actually working on the animals that I'm going to be tested on is much higher than if I was just based out of one zoo. So, I still probably won't have worked on every animal they'll ask me a question about, but, at least I'll have a better chance. So in October of our 3rd year, you're supposed to sit for your board exam. And then when you pass that, you get to add letters to your name, and then you're more marketable to a zoo position. And you're one of there's not very many people that are boarded. So that's the goal, is to kind of go through this program and then become one of those top tier people. It's not a large field, and, there's not a ton of job opportunities, but the nice thing about this program is it does produce very well-rounded residents, and historically they've had a good track record of getting jobs, so I can't really think that far in the future. Right now I'm just I just need to get to San Diego, finish those 2 years, pass boards, and then think about jobs.